Hi everyone, Michael O'Hanlon is chatting with me today. He is the Workplace Engagement Manager at Beyond Blue. Hi Michael.
Hi Adriana, how are you today?
Good. So look, I'm pretty excited because Beyond Blue was actually one of the very first organisations to kick in with some assistance around the wellbeing space with the coronavirus mental wellbeing support service. I mean, the stats have been extraordinary from what I gather. You've had 95,000 digital site users, 250,000 online forum page views, and over 3,000 phone counselling sessions. So obviously a lot of data collected there. What sectors and what demographics do you see most affected by COVID-19?
Sure. The support service is showing a good cross-section of the whole community using that service, which is partially what it's for, the whole community. In terms of workplaces, what we're seeing is particular industries being more affected than others. So if you look at areas like accommodation and arts, recreation, education, retail, trade, they're all losing about 25% or more of their jobs at this point in time. And it does impact all workplaces, but they're the key ones. And if you look at it from a income perspective, probably those earning up to $1,000 a week are the most impacted. They're probably around 25% and higher of that group are losing their jobs. And we're also starting to see a disproportionate impact on younger workers and on women. And I think that reflects those industries that I mentioned. The younger workers will be often in retail, hospitality, doing part-time work, and we know they're closed. And quite often women are doing some of those part-time roles as well.
Okay. What's interesting was I always thought Beyond Blue really focused on the individual. I didn't realise that you have a whole program where you go into workplaces and help set them up for, really robust wellbeing practices. What are some of the tools or some of the resources that you guys have that can assist businesses in this space?
Yes, you're right there, Adriana. Beyond Blue's focus is helping all Australians achieve their best mental health. And one of the ways we do that is through a couple of particular settings. One is workplace and the other is education. So preschool, primary and secondary school, where we have a program there called Be You. And in the workplace area, we've had a program since 2004 focusing on raising awareness around the benefits of improving mental health in the workplace. In other words, going beyond the mere legislative requirements to what a mentally healthy workplace is. And we have a particular website focused on that, and that's called Heads Up. The web address is headsup.org.au. And there's a whole raft of free online resources there, including videos, case studies, webinars. So it's a very rich, very deep site around giving workplaces of all sizes support and information about how they can go about improving the mental health within their workplace. There are some particular resources for small business, and one I'd highlight, or small to medium business, and one in particular is a resource focusing on supporting small business owners, how others can support them maintain their mental health. And I'd really recommend that to the audience today.
Yeah, well, certainly it does start from the top down, doesn't it?
It does.
Over the time, have you seen any particularly innovative initiatives come out of any organisations that you've worked with?
Yes, I think the fundamental principles that underlie all of what we've just talking about can be kind of brought down to three key areas: leadership, employer participation, and communication. And I mean, that's the same as for any initiative in a workplace, but in this case, leadership is critical in terms of leaders walking the talk. This is one of those spaces where if a leader says something and does the opposite, it's not going to take traction. People will watch what they do, not watch what they say. And I've seen some great examples where CEOs have stood up in a range of industries, and ones you might not expect, like male-dominated mining companies, where they have spoken of their personal journeys, their personal experiences, and what they do to look after their own mental health, talking about mindfulness and having holidays with the kids. So that's great leadership. And finally, the old communication. It's the tell them, and tell them again kind of thing. Yeah. Because what we're trying to create here is a culture change in an organisation. This is not a switch. It's not something that happens overnight. So this needs to be embedded as a effective, efficient and sustainable change in an organisation.
Are we, for the first time, facing a situation where perhaps the stigma around mental health in the workplace can potentially be either eliminated or at least reduced as a result?
Yeah, that's a great insight, Adriana. I think this is a time where everybody is impacted by a universal pandemic. So we are all experiencing different emotions, different impacts on both our physical and mental health. So for once, we're all getting an insight to what at different times individuals may experience. So it's a great time to encourage this communication, the open dialogue, and there is no need for stigma in the broad sense, because literally we're all in the same boat. This is what business as usual is right now. And it's a good time to be kind to ourselves, understanding those challenges you mentioned of working from home, and reach out to your colleagues. So for instance, my work team, we have an afternoon tea every day on Zoom, and we chat and talk about what's happening. So it's one way of keeping informed, and we have an understanding of what each of us is going through in terms of some have got kids at home, some haven't. So yes, I think it is a time where the stigma associated with these discussions should really be taken away, because it's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of reality at this point in time.